This is exam, climate, features that affect climate, climate change and weather, modified. Directions. Read all paragraphs and figures carefully. Pick the best answer. Leave this copy neat for other students. Part 1. Climate. A student noted these observations about a region. Observations. 1. Last week it rained throughout the region. 2. The region is generally hot and dry. Number 1. Which statement is correct about the climate and weather of the region? C. Observation 1 describes the climate in the region, and observation 2 describes the weather in the region. Or D. Observation 1 describes the weather in the region, and observation 2 describes the climate in the region. Again, observation 1, last week it rained. Observation 2, the region is generally hot and dry. Number 2, look at locations A, B, C, and D on Earth's surface, as shown in this diagram. Which of these locations receives the most direct sunlight? A, location A, B, location B, C, location C, D, location D. Number 3, a map in a newspaper weather report for the next day shows a continental tropical air mass over the state of Arizona. Which of these weather conditions will Arizona most likely have the next day? Is it A, warm and dry? Is it B, cold and humid? There's a continental tropical air mass over the state of Arizona. What weather conditions will it have the next day? 4. Which 2 factors are the most important in describing the climate of an area? A, the typical cloud coverage and the usual temperature range in the area. Or C, the usual temperature range and the amount of precipitation in the area. Features that affect climate. Number 5. 4 cities are all located at the same latitude. Which of these cities would most likely experience the mildest winters? B, the city near the lake, or D, a city near an ocean? So they're all the same latitude. Which city would have the mildest winters? On to the next page. Number 6. True or false? As altitude increases, air temperature decreases. 7. Why are temperatures in polar regions always lower than temperatures at the equator? B. The poles are always covered with clouds. Or D. Sunlight reaches the poles at a shallower angle. Number 8. An area by the ocean has high mountains inland. How do mountains affect the weather in the area? A. When the humid air masses from the ocean are forced up the mountains, precipitation occurs. Or D. Mountains cause steady wind speeds because the winds constantly flow down the slopes. The next section is climate change. Number 9. A population of polar bears lives near the Arctic Circle. The bears live about 15 years and spend much of the year hunting on sea ice. How are these polar bears affected by the releases of large amounts of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere? C. It reduces the size of their habitat. Or D. It reduces the temperature of their habitat. 10. Which of these human actions would help to reduce environmental damage? Which of these would help reduce environmental damage? A. Cutting down dense rainforests. Or D. Using solar power as an alternate source of energy. The next section is weather advanced. Number 11. This picture shows a tall cloud formation with a large top shaped like an anvil. What prediction can be made from this picture about the weather conditions in this area in the next few hours? A, there's a chance of snow, or B, there's potential thunderstorms. 12. The diagram to the right shows the movement of an air mass and the air pressure in a location. So to the right, there's low pressure, arrows going up, and there's clouds above it, and it's showing that the air mass is rising. Number 12. Which of these statements is most likely true about the location? B, it has fair weather, or C, it has unstable weather. Which is most likely true about the location? There's clouds, there's low pressure, and the air is rising. Okay, there is a large weather map above 13. Please take a minute to look at all the parts before going on. There's a low pressure front starting at the top left. As you go down, it says A, and then there's triangle, half circle, triangle, half circle. That's labeled an occluded front. Okay, so next to A, just past A, is an occluded front. As you continue to go down, there's a series of half circles between C and D. That's labeled a warm front. So between C and D, there's a warm front. And then as you continue to go down, it's not quite at B yet, but headed into B is a cold front. You can see it's a series of triangles, and it is labeled cold front. So A is next to the occluded front. There's a warm front between D and C, and there's a cold front headed into B. 13. What was the weather like at A today while the front moved through? Was it A, clear skies, B, light rain, C, thunderstorms, or D, tornadoes and severe weather? What was the weather like at A today while the front moved through? Okay, remember that that's an occluded front as shown on the map. 14. What will the weather be like as the front moves through C? So there's a warm front headed into C. Is that going to bring A, light rain, B, thunderstorms, C, clear skies and sunny, or D, cannot be determined? 15. What was the weather like at B yesterday? Was it A, clear skies, B, light rain, C, thunderstorms, or D, tornadoes and severe weather? What was the weather like at B yesterday? 16. How do the temperatures at D compare to the temperatures at C? A. The temperatures at D are higher than the temperatures at C because a warm air mass is above D. Or C. The temperatures at C are higher than the temperatures at D because a warm front just went through C. This concludes your exam.